Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit, and thank you so very much for joining me for our Friday Satsang. This is going to be part 65 of the series formerly known as the 64 Yoginis, now known as the Deities of Hirapur. Slight name change. We're going to honor the male principal found at that temple tonight, Lord Bhairava and his Shakti, Ma Bhairavi. And then the next 9 installments of this series will be on the 9 Durgas, which are found on the outside of the temple. I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. So first, this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. will be our next installment. I believe this is part 60 of our series, Kali for Everyone. And we'll be honoring Nitya Kali, the first of the 15 Kali Nityas, 15 forms of Kali, each with their own visualizations and mantras. And then next Friday will be our monthly Yoga Nidra practice. Topic to be announced on that. So again, welcome and namaste. Anybody who's tuning in at this time, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. So at the Chausat Yogini Temple, 64 Yogini Temple in Hirapur, this would be in the state of Orissa near Bhubaneswar, Bhairava and Bhairavi appear in the context of tantric, Shaiva, and Shakta worship, primarily through sculptures of 4 Bhairavas, 4 wrathful forms of Shiva, paired with the last 4 Yoginis, and those were the last 4 installments of this current series. And so they embody aspects of Shiva and Shakti, masculine and feminine, dynamic and receptive together. The 9th century open-roofed circular sandstone temple, and I'll show you a photo of that, follows a mandala-like pattern. The round part of the temple plus its entrance very much resembles a yoni pedestal that you would see in a traditional Shiva lingam. Its inner circular wall has niches for the yoginis. These are black carvings in a mineral called chlorite, and these are yoginis 1 through 60. And they're often nude or lightly clad with jewelry on different mounts or vahanas. And then the central square pavilion, which I'll show you a photo of. Here we go. The central square pavilion has the remaining, the last 4, Yogini 61 through 64, and they're matched with 4 male Shiva, that is wrathful Bhairava or Bhairava figures. So the 4 sandstone Bhairava sculptures occupy niches in that central cubic pavilion, along with those 4 yoginis. The first one is Sarva Mangala. That's the image that was stolen or missing. The second was Ajita, the yogini on the deer mount. And then Surya Putri, mounted upon a horse. And then the one that we honored in the last installment of this series, Vayuvina or Vayuvega, on an antelope. Each paired with a corresponding Bhairava. We'll be going into detail on those 4 male figures, and thus symbolizing the union between Bhairava, Lord Shiva, and Shakti or Yogini Bhairavi. The Bhairavas are generally not wrathful in appearance as we tend to think of Bhairab or Bhairava. They're more serene in nature, gently smiling, rather than ferocious looking. They have erect phalluses. This is a theme that's common in Orisan art. They wear ornaments associated with Shiva, have halos, and hold attributes such as a rosary, a damaru drum, a khadga or sword, skull cup or kapala, and trident. Surrounding each of these statues are flying Gandharvas or attendants. They often appear above, and sometimes these figures have dancing female figures thought to be yogini figures. Some scholars suggest that the central image of Mahabhairava once occupied the center of the cube. There are accounts that there was such a statue in the very center here, which was soon after stolen. It disappeared after the rediscovery of this temple in 1953. But thought to be possibly Mahabhairava, the great Bhairava, maybe a figure looking very much like the Bhairava that's carved in the center of this kapala or skull cup. I got this particular kapala. This is the first one I ever owned when I was visiting the lower Himalayas. I was in Dharamshala, the location of the Tibetan government in exile, and I found this from an antique dealer. This particular skull bowl is about 80 years old. When we look at the 64 yogini temples, in addition to those 4 figures in the center, there are also carvings of 2 Bhairava, that is wrathful Shiva, figures by the doorway as well. The outer wall has carvings of 9 goddesses believed to be the 9 Durgas. And as I said before, we're going to be honoring the 9 Durgas in the remaining 9 installments of this series. Bhairava, or Bhairab as he's sometimes called, the fierce form of Shiva, his name means the terrifying one. And he is considered in some tantric traditions to be the leader of the yoginis. The Bhairava images that I tend to have at this temple are of more of a Himalayan nature. Sometimes he's also known as Mahakala, or the great force of time. This is in this yak bone carving. This is a 2-armed form of Mahakala, or Bhairava, believed to be identical with Lord Yama, the god of the dead. I have another image here that I'll show you. Another 2-armed Bhairava that you can see a little more clearly the way the camera is focused currently. So just to go on more about Bhairava, the temple itself. So unlike other tantric temples, outside of the Chasati Yogini temple, we don't see images of tantric union. But in that central pavilion, we still see that balance between dynamic and receptive, masculine and feminine, Prakriti and Purusha, like we talked about on Tuesday. The temple is also called the Mahamaya temple after the central figure in the goddess carvings in the inner wall. The temple itself remains an active site. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Many of the yogini and some Bhairava statues show a great deal of damage and loss of limbs, which kind of adds to their mystery. And it's also protected by the Archaeological Survey of India. and is one of the few surviving 64 Yogini temples, and really the best preserved example of any of them. So I've said a bit about Bhairava, the wrathful Shiva. Let's talk a little bit about Bhairavi, the Shakti. So on our central altar here is another Bhairab figure. Again, this is of more Himalayan nature. He's holding a purba, or magical dart, for pinning down disruptive or demonic forces. He's holding, he's also holding a vajra or dorje, representing the indestructible force of the divine. He's standing in a dancing posture on a dog, and Bhairab or Bhairava is commonly shown with a black dog. Dogs are scavengers on cremation grounds, and they're also regarded as guardians to the underworld, rather like the Greco-Roman Cerberus. The matching Bhairavi figure, this is another Nepalese figure. This is a simple lost wax figure, but she's shown holding a sword like Kali holds for cutting away ego attachments, and she's holding a kapala or skull bowl. On her head is a lotus, which reminds us of the crown chakra. And she has 3 braids, which represent the 3 main energy channels of the body, Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna Nadi. She's wearing a skirt, presumably of tiger skin. And I'll show you a modern Bhairavi painting. And we see that sometimes we see images of Bhairavi, and it looks like she has horns. And actually what that is a crescent moon. But we see she's holding the kapala and the sword. She's displaying the mudra of dispelling fear and also of granting boons. Her jewelry are serpents, cobras, and these represent Kundalini energy, Kundalini Shakti. Her hair is loose and rather disheveled, meaning her Shakti energy is completely free. She's wearing a necklace of, by tradition, this is 50 skulls, and these represent her collecting of our disruptive thoughts, and also, being 50 in number, the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. So she's associated with the power of the word and the power of mantra. And then all over her are eyes. She is seeing into all realms of the universe. She is gray in color because her body is smeared with ash from the cremation grounds. So she is in the form of a cremation ground ascetic. And this brings us to our other painting, the painting I have on our central altar. I'm going to try and bring this a little bit closer. But this is Lord Bhairab and Bhairavi. And we see that Bhairab is next to his trident and Damaru, and he is sitting there with a very adoring expression on his face. They're seated on a cremation ground. Bhairavi is seated on a corpse, and she is in the form again of a cremation ground ascetic, a kapalika or a gauri, and she's holding the severed head of a demon and a sword. She's also displaying the mudra of dispelling fear. She has her necklace of skulls, and she's holding a trident. And Bhairavi is sometimes called Tripura Bhairavi, in that she personifies the 3 realms. And this can be birth, life, and death, followed by rebirth. This can be Also, the three divine functions of Icha Shakti, the power of will, Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. And it looks as though Bhairab, or Shiva, is meditating upon Bhairavi and perhaps listening for her wisdom. And one of the things that both of these deities are known for is they are deities of the cremation ground, and they will share with you their knowledge if you are willing to let go of your fears. I'd like to say namaste to Kim, and it looks like I have quite a few people joining me tonight. So again, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. Tantric scriptures, and one of my favorites is the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, really the most accessible of the surviving scriptures of the ancient Trika lineage. And it describes 112 different meditation methods. Tantric scriptures tend to be written as a dialogue between Bhairava and Bhairavi. So Bhairavi will ask questions to which Lord Shiva or Lord Bhairab will answer. It's almost like he's kind of reminds me of somebody who's sitting for an oral exam. But she's known as Tripura, the three realms, and also astrologically, Bhairavi is associated with the entire zodiac, everything astrological, the sun, the moon, and the 9 planets. All of those are embodied in this form of the Divine Mother. She's also known as Chamunda Bhairavi. So she's associated with the original form of Kali, the emaciated goddess, also of the cremation ground, and the destroyer and slayer of our inner demons. Very powerful form of the Divine Mother. And I'd like to say hello, namaste to Manjari Ghosh, who's also joining us. And yeah, you're very welcome. I love sharing this knowledge as well. So, as I mentioned, in the center of the 64 Yogini temple, there are 4 different forms, rather interesting forms, of this wrathful form of Shiva. And the first one, I have photographs of them, is called Ekapada Bhairava. And notice that he is standing upon one leg. So this is the most visually unusual Bhairava in Hirapur. Literally, his name Ekapada means one-footed or one-legged. He's the only image in the central shrine who does stand on one leg. He's wearing a conical crown, rather similar to the spires that we see on South Indian temples. And he's on the left side of the central cube. He's a 4-armed deity, although 2 of those arms are damaged. We see that he is holding both a sword or khadga for cutting away our distractions, cutting away our ego attachments, and he's holding a shield, small shield. And his sword is an invincible weapon. If you have his sword, you can't lose. So that shield is for the protection of his devotees. Like the other Bhairavas, he's represented with an erect lingam, and has a calm, almost smiling expression rather than the more violent or wrathful expression that we tend to find on this form of Shiva. There's a real strong ecstatic energy behind these deities. So the ancient tradition of the one-legged Shiva, we do find this elsewhere in India, and it seems to represent one-pointedness in meditation, focusing on one thing without letting the external things distract you. And anybody who's ever gone into vrikshasana or tree pose, you know there's a certain level of concentration required in maintaining that pose. The second Bhairava, and probably the most damaged image, is the second one here. And this is Svachanda Bhairava. And he is in a 10-armed form, seated on two lotuses. What we can see that he is holding is a rosary or mala for counting mantras. He's holding a damaru drum, which certainly represents the rhythmic nature, the rhythmic expansion of the cosmos. He's also holding a kapala or skull cup, and he is seated. We can see a little bit of his mount, which is a dead body. And this is something we're going to see in the other Bhairava statues. And this represents the ability to transcend our greatest fear, and that's the fear of death. Several of his arms are broken, so there's a lot we don't know about other instruments he might have been holding. But Svachanda means self-willed, or according to one's own freedom, or independent. And so he's not just merely a frightening guardian, but he represents an extremely powerful and autonomous form of Shiva. Really is a representation of spiritual independence. The third of the four Bhairavas in the center is Chanda Bhairava. And he's rather interesting in himself. He is another 10-armed form. Many of the arms, again, are broken away. But again, we see this double lotus seat. We can see it more clearly on him and also on the fourth. And think of how the lotus grows from its bulb at the bottom of a pool, from the mud and the muck at the bottom of the pool, and it grows upwards toward the sun, where its bloom finally opens upon the surface. And so this is symbolic of our own spiritual evolution. But he's also holding a damaru drum, one of Shiva's traditional attributes. In the Nataraj form of Shiva, for example, the dancing Shiva, he has the flame of destruction, which destroys one era, but then he has this ticking drum, which brings the next era, the next age, into being. He's also holding a flute, which may have an association with the 7 chakras and the tones of those forms of our subtle body. We can see part of a trident that he's holding as well. And he's also holding a shield for the protection of his children as well. Something unusual is he is seated not upon a male figure, but a female figure who seems to be assuming a form of balasana, or child's pose. And she also has what appears to be an umbilical like stem, which is the bottom of the lotus. And it's rather similar to the images of Vishnu, who has a lotus growing from his navel. And seated upon that lotus is Lord Brahma, the creator. And it's like she is dreaming Chandra Bhairava into being. So the idea of our unconscious becoming conscious is embodied in this statue. The fourth of these Bhairavas is a bit of a mystery. In modern catalogs, he's also given the name Chanda Bhairava. And he looks very similar to the other figure, also on a female figure, also on a double lotus. Also, there's that umbilical like stem. Also, the erect phallus. Really all of his arms, though, are broken away. We don't know if the fact he's being given the same name is some kind of error. He might be another form of Bhairava whose name has been lost to the ages, but he is very similar to the previous one. The mantras we're going to be using for Lord Bhairava, we're going to use AUM Bhairavaya Namaha, AUM Bhairavaya Namaha, AUM Bhairavaya Namaha, meaning salutations to Lord Bhairava. And then for Bhairavi, his Shakti, we're going to use the traditional mantra for Bhairavi as the central of the 10 Mahavidyas, Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. And these are similar to another mantra associated with another of the Mahavidyas, Tripura Sundari, Aing, Klim, Sao. Aing is a Sarasvati mantra, meaning the creative process. Hsklirm is similar to the mantra Klim. It represents the attractive nature of the divine. And Hsrauh, similar to the mantra Sao, which also has a strong creative or knowledge-giving aspect to it. And so these are the mantras that we'll be using in both our puja and also in the guided meditation, which I'll be doing after our short fire ceremony. So, Jai Ma Bhairab, Jai Ma Bhairavi, Jai Bhairava, Jai Bhairavi, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Mata Di. So let's prepare for our puja and our meditation. So I invite you to take a comfortable seated position. Find a position where you can look upon our altar and the fire that we're going to be generating with a relaxed gaze. Maybe roll the shoulders back, let the back be straight, and our breath be full. And let's begin by breathing deeply, breathing slowly, yogic breath. Breathing away the cares and the concerns of the day. Those thoughts of things that have happened or those thoughts of things that surrounding things that need to happen, just let those things go. Be like Ekapada Shiva, Ekapada Bhairab, focusing on the one point, which is the present moment. Breathing in a relaxed nature, like the Shiva Bhairab in our painting here. And an openness to receive the knowledge that the Divine Mother has to share with us. Focusing our breath and our attention on our heart center. Taking a moment to prepare for the work we're about to do. And at this time, if there is some aspect of your life that is ready for healing or transformation or healing, or something that you need some divine insight or help for, just take a moment and ask for the help from the divine, from Bhairava and Bhairavi. And also open your awareness to their divine presence within yourself. And slowly bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And let's open our practice by chanting the syllable Om 3 times. So a nice deep inhale. Inhale again. One more deep inhale. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Di. Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavistam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabya Byanta Sushi. Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Seshivanam Shatobijam Prasnavananam Dayat Sava Vigno Pasantaye Jaganesha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guru Ve Namah. Jai Guru. Om Trayambakam Yajamae Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanan Michur Mukshiyamamrita. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalani Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute. Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutita Harani Jaya Savagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Jai Makali. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Jai Bhairava. Hsraim. Hsklirm. Hsrauh. Jai Bhairavi. So I invite you to join me in our mantras. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim. Hsklirm. Hsrauh. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim. Hsklirm. Hsrauh. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim. Hsklirm. Hsrauh. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM 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 Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Om Kapuragoram Karnavataram Samsarasaram Bhujagendraharam Sada Santam Hridayaravinде Devam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Svamishwara Devi Chachara Charasya Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. So I invite you to join me in continuing the mantras. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. 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 AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsklirm, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Om Bhairavaya Namaha Hsraim Hsklirm 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 Hsrauh. Breathe deeply, meditating upon our fire. Feel the power of the mantras and integrating them into your being. Feeling their power working toward your intentions. And feeling the healing that you need, the guidance that you need, the insights that you need, the resolution that you need coming to you. And imagine giving those things that no longer work for you in your life to the fire as an offering for transformation. And feel those transformed energies coming back to you in the form of heat and in the form of light. And let fear be transformed into courage. Let insecurities be transformed into certainty and confidence. Feel affliction being transformed into healing. Feel loss and poverty being transformed into wealth and prosperity. And feel ignorance being transformed into knowledge and wisdom. Jai Bhairab, Jai Bhairavi. Jai Bhairab, Jai Bhairavi. Jai Bhairab, Jai Bhairavi. Jai Bhairab, Jai Bhairavi. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Di. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Di. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Di. So I invite you now to sit comfortably. Let your spine become naturally upright and slowly close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and slowly breathe out. Feel your shoulders relaxing, dropping away from your ears. Feel an increased sense of harmony within. And again, breathe in deeply and release. Letting your body become still and peaceful. And I invite you to bring your awareness to the space around you. And imagine a vast, dark blue night light. Silent, immense, and completely undisturbed. This vastness represents Bhairava, the wrathful Shiva. Pure awareness, fearless presence, consciousness beyond thought. And I invite you to silently repeat, Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. With each repetition, allow the mind to become quieter and quieter. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Try to stop your thoughts. Just simply watch them arise and disappear. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. You are the awareness, witnessing the thoughts as they come and go. And just be with them and the mantra for the next few breaths. And now I invite you to bring your attention to the center of your chest. And imagine a small ruby red or golden light appearing there. With every breath, the light becomes brighter and brighter. This is Ma Bhairavi, Shakti, the living power of consciousness, warmth, transformation, courage, and creative energy. And I invite you to repeat to yourself, Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. And feel the warmth from the light like our fire spreading through your chest, through your abdomen, through your arms, through your face. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Nothing you need to accomplish, just simply being. Just simply allowing the energy to be present. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. And then I invite you to imagine the deep blue light of Bhairava above and around you. And imagine the radiant red gold light of Bhairavi within your heart. And with each inhalation, the two lights come closer and closer together till they meet in the center of your chest. And pay attention to any sensations that occur as these two colored lights come together and meet as one. Watch blue and red become violet gold. Stillness and energy. Awareness and power. Bhairava and Bhairavi. And just rest for a time in that union. And let the following words resonate within you. I am aware. I am present. I do not need to fear what arises. Stillness and energy are one. I am aware. I am present. I do not need to fear what arises. Stillness and energy are one. I am aware. I am present. I do not need to fear what arises. Stillness and energy are one. Just remain here for a time. And if thoughts, emotions, sensations, or memories arise, don't fight them. Just let Bhairava be the unshakable awareness. And let Bhairavi be the energy moving through that awareness. And nothing needs to be rejected. Nothing needs to be grasped. And I invite you to take a slow, deep, clearing breath and gradually allow the visualization to dissolve. And feel your body sitting where you are. Feel your breath. Feel your hands and feet. Take another slow, deep, clearing breath. A second. And a third. And place your palms together at your heart. And bow your head slightly. Giving thanks to Lord Bhairava and Ma Bhairavi for their presence. And feel their presence within yourself. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. AUM Bhairavaya Namaha. Hsklirm, Hsraim, Hsklirm, Hsrauh. And take a moment to also give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice tonight, knowing you can replay the recording whenever you have need. And you're also welcome to play this recording for someone else who may benefit from it. And may you remain steady in awareness and courageous in the presence of your life. And I invite you to slowly open your eyes. And namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Di. Thank you and namaste. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I want to thank everyone who joined live. That would be Kim and Manjari and anyone else. I think we had quite a few people this evening, and I'd also like to give my thanks to anybody who'll be watching the recording of this broadcast in the future. As always, if there's anything you'd like to share or you have questions, please feel free to email me at aumcdevi, AUMC Devi, gmail.com. You're always welcome to message me at my channel as well. And I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday for our continuation of our Kali for Everyone series. This will be kind of a series, starting a series within the series, the 15 Kali Nitya goddesses. And we'll begin with Nitya Kali. So again, thank you so very much. As always, please take some time for some quiet contemplation before resuming the day or the evening's activities. And Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. Jai Ma.